Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 2021 model launch that is now available pre-owned. This is the Oris Divers 65 Cotten Candy, part of a series of 3 bronze pastel-dialed Oris Divers 65 models that evoke the pastel tones of carnival-style cotton candy. So there are 3 models: pastel blue, pastel pink, and pastel green, which is what we have right here, a lovely spearmint green with elements of teal and turquoise blended in. So the watch is 38 millimeters in diameter by 13 millimeters thick by 45.7 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs, and I really like the size of this. It's a good size. For a watch with a lot of color and character, excessive size can be a bit abominable. Here, this is perfectly sized and proportioned so that it feels fun and lively rather than gaudy. On my wrist, 16 centimeters circumference, it's nowhere near the edges, which means I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference, and it's absolutely a unisex option. It'll also fit well underneath a dress cuff, which is not universal among sports watches and dive watches in particular. This is a bronze watch, and it features a matching bronze bracelet. Surprisingly, given the price point, we use screws to fix the removable links rather than pin sleeves. And take note, every single link in the bracelet is removable, so you're going to get the right size. Take note, there are multiple divots drilled inside the bronze clasp, so using your strap tool, you'll be able to adjust the anchoring point of the bracelet to further fine-tune the size. And whereas you might expect a friction fit or clamshell lock, here we get an upscale twin trigger release that gives the impression of a more expensive watch. Rolling over to the case, you can see it features satin-finished lug hoods and polished flanks. It has a narrow mid-case profile, which is characteristic of watches that are either long-running timepieces, think the Omega Moon watch, or vintage reeditions. And this is a vintage reedition of a 1965 Oris Divers watch. So you have that narrow case band with blended lugs. They're satinated on the top. You can see the entirety of the bracelet, including the end link, all of satin finish, and the end link traces the arc of the case, so it's an integrated end link. So there's very little daylight, if any, between case and bracelet, giving it a handsome all-of-a-piece look. The crown is a screw down. The watch is 100 meters, so it is a dive watch. It's just not a deep dive watch. 100 is more than enough to have fun and go scuba diving. You just don't want to get seriously pro with a 100-meter watch. For that, you'd want 300 meters. But if you're looking for a cotton candy colored diver, I would say 100 with a screw-down crown is all the security you're going to need. Now, you do have a diving bezel. It, too, is in bronze. Note the bezel is actually bronze, but the insert is bronze in satin finish. It's a media blasted finish and a lovely understated matte look. It has a pleasing ratchet, and with 120 click precision, you can easily line up the luminescent pearl with the minute hand for a 0 to 60 minute count up timer. It's got plenty of lume, as you can see. And I would always prefer a dive bezel to a chronograph for timing most intervals, as I find I tend to time short intervals, and it's easier to read a diving bezel. Now, the dial does include that lovely pastel green tone, and you can see that Oris, as well as the statement of origin and the feature statement down at the base of the dial, all that's been largely minimized. It's been marginalized. It's been sort of shaded to the background and understated in a way that's almost worthy of Moser. They simply don't feel a pressing need to brand this watch, and I like that kind of confidence from a manufacturer. Vintage features abound. You have this lovely box section and super cambered sapphire that gives you the ability to gain that off-axis distortion that people love on vintage plexiglass crystals on older dive watches. We also have that little simulated patina look, but whereas it can be cloying on a conventional watch, with the bronze case and the rose gold plated indices and hands, it's actually a welcome complementary color. Now, I screw out the crown, and you can see I have a hacking or stop seconds feature. If I wish to stop the seconds and set the watch to a reference time, I can do that easily. I also have a quick set system for the date. If I wish to set it rapidly, I can do so. On the case back, you can see not a whole lot to see. The case back is made of stainless steel. Underneath is a Sellita SW200. It's basically an ETA 28242 made by Sellita, so automatic winding, bidirectional, 38-hour power reserve, stop seconds, quick set date, 26 joules, and 8 beats per second, all of that water resistant down to 100 meters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.